Seeing my reflection in the shadow-constructed wall, I am stunned by the thing I see before I walk away from my composition. The unlit thought living, breathing within the brick, standing on its clay feet, mortared line upon line. Any man can become a wall, but not every man can tear one down once set, once hard in the adobe baking heat. Walls cast in the light soon enough have their dark side, and in the shadow of it reside all the reasons for making a wall impenetrable. I remember each brick, the fear I dug from the wet, sucking muck mixed with the piss and sand to form the wet shape of my weighty rectangular being. That box I desired to live in as it dried in the light and heat, knowing all along that soon enough one side would turn to shadow of remembrance, and I would no longer be able to live there. It is, the sun that bakes me to hardness and raises the scent of the sterile piss commingled with mold-growing darkness that calls with aphrodisiac blindness to the stranger, to have me, to own me, to take my work in fear, and make for them a home with only the worst of me, the builder, left behind. A residence meant for strangers, for truthfully I would not, I cannot, I will not live within those walls any longer than it takes to construct them. And I leave behind me the fear within me, alive and bound within the hardened clay of the brick.
I've come to address you all today on a very important matter. Our liberties are eroding day by day. Our money is getting weaker and weaker. Our leaders are dissolving our sovereignty beneath their very noses. Our money is going to cover the loss of giant corporations. We are fighting an enemy whose identity we are not completely sure of. Millions are dying at the hands of our arms, and the intellect is laughed at, abused, and ignored. We are constantly in debt, perpetually in debt, and we owe money simply for the privilege of having money. And why? To be enslaved, indebted in servitude, owing money for the rest of our natural-born life. We are fed bullshit through the voices of media, through the poisons in our food, from the men behind the curtains. It can't happen here, says the expression on your face. Well, it has happened here from 1913 on. It won't be all at once. No, that would cause rioting. It has to be eased into as when entering hot water. A call upon the masses to kick, complain, organize for a decent way of life. To not accept the current norm shall be heard from every city, from land to sea, through the route of online communications. One last message to send. End the Federal Reserve and end economic slavery. Protect the Constitution and uphold the Bill of Rights. Stand up for your rights. Don't bother looking for it on TV because a revolution will not be televised.
Sometimes she wouldn't listen. We couldn't take ourselves beyond this, but things seemed to stop spinning around when we dragged the hatchet across the divide, disregarding women who make love instead of lasagna. For all we all know her place is to fabricate the flag we fly above. But she never learned to sew, and she doesn't need to know. His pants can have patches. It's warm outside of your skin, but I'm a sliver, so I shiver below your dermis. Too close to your core to freeze to death, but still far from your warm garnet. Where do you keep that garnet now? You hid it so long ago, in murky depths I can't recall. How many facets did it have, captured in its smooth faces? Between you and me, it made diamonds look like dirt. I love you. Can you hear me? I love you. Unwanted but needed. Even babies die if you don't hold them. Fires die if you do. You're both. You're a candle wick. I killed you with my breath.
I had the perfect poem, but I left it in my bed last night. I fell asleep on top of it, and a gremlin stapled it to the inside of my head. While I fell down into a molehole of self-destructed illusion disguised as the mouth of a chimera, chewing on my house, landing at the bottom of the belly of the beast with a splat, I lay flat and bewildered.
The kitchen was drafty, all hard surfaces and crisp spring air. It smelled like buttered turkey sandwiches. Everyone else was still asleep. I had sat there alone all night on a wooden kitchen chair in my thin cotton nightgown, chilly and irritated. I had watched the bats come out and swarm over the house, flapping their wings. When I closed my eyes, it sounded like soft, drizzling rain, and when I opened them, the bats' inky silhouettes made it look like the sky was dancing.